Hey guys, welcome to Cooking with Caitlin. I'm Caitlin, and I'm really excited, this is our very first episode. And tonight, I will be showing you how to cook mac and cheese. I know, right? Home cooking at its finest. But why mac and cheese, Caitlin? I can just get it out of the box. You totally could. But why would you do that to yourself? It's so much better when you make it this way, I promise. My grandma used to make it this way, and if French people ate mac and cheese, they would make it this way too, because there's bechamel sauce in it. And bechamel sauce is the mother of all French cooking. And what is that? It's a cream sauce. I'm going to show you how to make it. And it's really authentic because I enlisted the closest thing I have to France here, and that is my best friend Candace and her fiance Arnaud. He's from France. And he teaches me how to say things like chef.
That's perfect. Chef.
I'm learning. I think I covered everything, so let's get started. We're gonna start with 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm using salted butter, so it's a little bit of a cheat. But if you don't use salted butter, you're gonna need a pinch of salt. Then we're gonna do 4 tablespoons of flour. We're gonna use 2.5 cups of milk. I'm gonna just use a pinch of pepper to taste. You know, if you're really fancy, you can use white pepper so then you don't see the black specks. I have some French goat cheese that I can't pronounce the name of, so Arnaud will help me out with it later. I'm using about an 8-ounce log here. We have some delicious shredded cheddar that is sharp. Use about a cup. Then you're also gonna need a pound of penne. I love penne, and it also absorbs the bechamel amazingly. Causes a flavor explosion in your mouth later. It's just my favorite. We're gonna cook the pasta for 6 minutes, because typically you would cook penne 8 to 10 minutes. You don't want it all the way done though when you're cooking a pasta that needs to be baked afterwards, because then it's a big soggy mess. Instead, you cook it a little bit underneath the well-doneness and then baking perfection. Last but not least, Italian breadcrumbs. Why Italian breadcrumbs? Why? Is it because you're Italian, Caitlin? No. Well, I am, but it's because it's delicious and seasoned and has things like parsley and garlic and basil and goodness. It just gives it a little punch for our little crust. Probably use about 1/3 of a cup. Step 1, let's keep it clean. We're gonna wash our hands. And step 2, we're gonna get our pasta started. Usually you'd boil somewhere around 2 quarts of water. You want to make sure it's at a rolling boil, so you see a lot of bubbles going on. And we add our pasta. A few tablespoons of olive oil in with the pasta. It makes it not stick together and be a clumpy mess. Once you're at your 6-minute mark, you just strain it. A lot of people rinse it. I choose not to, because the starch then leaves the pasta, and to maintain the integrity of the pasta, if you're a really Italian person, you just let it cool. First ingredient of your bechamel sauce, a Frenchman. Arnaud, get over here.
I'm coming.
Oh, you don't have a Frenchman. That's okay. You can start with butter. I'm gonna get the butter and the flour going. Arnaud, I'm gonna put you on milk duty. Let's do this.
So I'm just pouring the milk. Stir it for a while.
That way it doesn't get burned on the bottom of the pan. So we're gonna do 4 tablespoons of butter. Usually, most standard sticks tell you on the side. Done and done. We're also gonna do 4 tablespoons of roux. Usually you do equal parts butter and flour, but we're gonna melt our butter a little bit more first. Roux is a great thickening agent for most French sauces and standard gravies. If you're making a gravy and you have meat drippings, it's really delish. How's life, Arnaud?
Well, not too bad.
Yeah.
How about you?
Good. So you guys got engaged in France. That was romantic.
Yes, that was awesome.
This is what I'm curious about. How did you, what goes in for guys with the planning aspect of that? Because for guys, it's like the biggest moment for them in life, but like in their relationship. I'm gonna add the flour now, and then Arno's gonna explain this to us. Like, what goes into that? You know?
Well, you wanna obviously to make this moment perfect, you know.
Okay.
So you want all the details to be perfectly planned, in order to get a yes answer.
Right, right. Because God knows we weren't sure. You wake up one morning and be like, it's gonna be on a boat, or like what?
No, it's more like you evaluate different options, and then you think, well, it's this is gonna be the right plan, basically. But it's not, you know. It's
you gotta fill us in on what the right plan
just
is.
sort of about different possibilities, different countries, different cities, how I would do it, and being on a boat in a very nice city like Paris. So it was a good plan, and being just two of us was it worked out.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, no, we were both very
How
happy.
long did you think about
A month or two before it happened.
That's when you decided.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it a romance factor Paris, or is it because it's home Paris, or?
A bit of both, actually.
We don't want it to get too brown, so we're gonna start incorporating our milk, because if it gets brown, it makes for an ugly sauce, and it also makes for that burnt popcorn taste that no one wants in their mac and cheese.
So slowly we're gonna incorporate the milk.
And I'm gonna stir it while we do, so we make a cream sauce, and we're gonna lower the heat too. So make sure if it's not already on low, it's gotta be on low now. If you have a tiny whisk, which I do not right now, this would be great. It's gradually gonna turn into a cream sauce. It's starting to look like sauce here.
Yeah. So I think now we're done.
Ooh, that looks fancy.
So a little bit of pepper.
Right. Oh, that's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Ready?
Ta-da!
Bechamel is ready.
So we got our pasta that we cooked before, and we're gonna incorporate it. We wanna get as much of this goodness into our penne. And penne is really good for this because it's nice and like porous, it's spongy, and it just soaks it all up. And that's what gives it that like rich, oh my god, foodgasm flavor. All right, that's what we're going for here. I think it was amazing that you had the champagne. It wasn't champagne. It was
champagne.
It was champagne. Champagne on the boat. I personally want to be proposed to with bacon. That you can leave in. You don't have to edit that out. Let them all know. If you want Caitlin to marry you, there better be bacon involved. All right, we're ready to put this in the pan.
There we go.
So we put this in the pan. Good. Scraped it, and now we spread it. Ooh, don't go. Spread it out. Pat it down so it's nice. And now, let's get our cheese. So I got some goat cheese going on over here. And I personally like to hide it in like little nuggets, like in between. So you wanna like mush it in a little bit because then it's like packed in there like little surprises in every bite, which is why I like to use it. You can also use ricotta if you don't like the tartness of goat cheese. I kind of love it. So does Arnaud. And it also goes with our French themed mac and cheese. We're almost good to go here. We used about an 8-ounce log, so it's plenty for you and all your friends. Everyone should get a nugget of deliciousness in their bite. Using just a regular teaspoon amount and just dolloping it in there and then just mushing in the pasta. Nothing fancy, no hard to grasp techniques. It's just kind of making sure it's in there. And you don't want to do this because I know a lot of you are thinking, well, why didn't you put it in the pan when you were doing it before? Then it'll be all without. Yeah, but that would create a tartness in every like pasta that would be like absorbed, because you see how the bechamel is already being absorbed in the pasta. You don't want that taste in every single piece of pasta. It would be a little too much to palate. You just kind of want it as a surprise in between. So next up is everyone's favorite, the sharp cheddar cheese. I think it's important to use sharp because I think it adds a little punch that competes with the goat cheese. If you can't handle that kind of flavor intensity, that's, I mean, to each his own. And then you just go ahead and use regular. And you put as much or as little as you want. We used about 1/3 of a cup because I don't want to overpower anything. I like it all to be friends. But if you're the type who's like all about the cheddar cheese, I mean, go to town. Okay. Next up, we do some breadcrumbs. Why breadcrumbs? Because who doesn't like crunchy? I don't know. I haven't met anyone. So I just do a little shake of it. And it's gonna make like a crust of deliciousness once it all like melts together. So this is what it looks like before we put it in the oven. So now that we are done with that, we've had our oven preheated to 350 degrees.
And here we go.
Into the oven we go. We got it on the top rack. Close that bad boy up. We're gonna leave her in there for about 25 to 30 minutes. All right. So we're gonna check on it, and yes, success. So when everything starts getting a little golden brown and everything's bubbly and delicious, you are done. Your cheese on top's melted. Everything's bubbling away. You have some little pieces that are a little crunchy on top. You know you did good. All right. You might want to start cutting into it now before it gets too hard on the top. Because what happens is, as it like settles, it gets to be a really thick crust and it's hard to cut into. All right, guys. We made some mac and cheese. All right. As they say in France, bon appetit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's delicious. Exactly. Let's try it out. Did I said it right, yeah?
Yes.
Yes! I'm gonna learn French before we're done with this episode. Alright, how'd I do, guys? Be honest.
Delicious.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Cooking with Caitlin. You now know how to make mac and cheese that even the French appreciate. Yum-o! And come back next time with an empty stomach, okay?